Welcome, everybody, to Spring into New National RTAP Resources. Today is the first day of spring, and you can see on our banner all the beautiful bright green leaves. Hope you're having some nice weather wherever you are. And today we're going to introduce some of the newest blooms in the National RTAP garden. So let's get started. We have a lot to cover. First, a little housekeeping. We will post the recording and slides on our webinars page. If you have questions at any point in the webinar, put them in the Q&A box on Zoom to be addressed after the presentation. If you're having trouble with Zoom, you can use chat, and I saw Robin Phillips is also on. One or the other of us will do our best to help you. At the end of the webinar, you'll be asked to fill out a very brief post-webinar survey. There'll be a QR code so you can get their phones ready. If you don't get it today, you'll get it in email tomorrow. So stay tuned for additional webinars or workshops on this topic and many other topics. I saw some familiar faces, but in case you're new to National RTAP, we're a technical assistance center funded by FTA through its Section 5311 Rural Program, and we provide free training materials and technical assistance to all rural and tribal transit providers and to state RTAPs. We're governed by a review board, 14 state DOT and rural and tribal transit agency managers from across the country. Our URL is easy to remember, nationalrtap.org. There's a picture of it. So in a nutshell, we provide training, information, technology tools, peer networking, assistance, including everything you can need: manuals, videos, slides, e-learning, technical briefs, toolkits, topic guides, articles, newsletters, our tech tools for procurement, cost allocation, website building, GTFS, ride sheet, and with peer networking, webinars like this one. We have conferences. I'll tell you about our upcoming conference at the end, peer roundtables, peer forums, and assistance, one-on-one assistance, either research, technical support. Please bring us your questions. National RTAP also is the current leader of TACL. It's a library focused on transportation coordination by FTA and all of its TA centers. And it has an easy to understand URL too, transportation-tackle.org. Soon it will be led by a new FTA TA center, the Coordinating Council on Access and Mobility TAC. So I will be your presenter today. I'm Kara Marcus, the Knowledge and Resource Manager for National RTAP. So ready to enter our spring garden. Our first flower is the Directory of Grant Writers. So this is brand new. If you go to nationalrtap.org, mouse over our resources mega menu right next to home, and you'll see 4 columns. It's the last link in the first column, or you can bookmark this URL. The slides will be posted online, so you'll have all the URLs in this presentation. What is this directory? We launched it in October 2024. It's starting out with 10 grant writers. We're sure we'll have more. And it connects transit managers and stakeholders looking to contract with grant writing consultants available for hire. They've listed their information voluntarily. If you are a grant writer or know of a grant writer and want to be added, please email us at info@nationalrtap.org. Caveat: none of the grant writers listed have been specifically endorsed or used by National RTAP, but you can find grant writers using this directory. In many ways, if you're looking for one with a specific last name, you can use our A to Z index. You can search for specific topics grant writers write about, like healthcare, housing, 5310, or other terms you're writing grants about. Or you can select the drop-down filter menu. These are some of the topics that the grant writers in our directory write about: capital projects, constructions, older adults, planning, and more. Notice there's a download CSV version button. Click on that and you'll get a spreadsheet with all the grant writers, currently listed in their directory with all their information. So here's what one of the listings look like. The listings include their name, their company name, their phone number. You can click to call, clickable email, website, and if they provided a LinkedIn page, their mailing address, and a biography. Some of the listings include a headshot and some don't. So in addition to grant writing, the consultants in the directory might provide additional services. Ask them what they offer when you contact them. Other services might include articulating agency needs and your agency's vision for your grants, developing grant budgets, training your own transit agency grant writing or other staff in writing grants, assisting transit agencies with grant compliance, management, and reporting, providing guidance on the federal grant landscape and which grants might be best for your agency, and creating grant contracts and agreements. They really offer a wide scope of services. So when you're ready to hire a grant writer, do your homework, remember they're consultants. If your transit agency receives federal funds, you need to hire a grant writer through a compliant procurement process using FTA clauses and certifications. So you can use National RTAP's free technology tool Procurement Pro for that. The procurement type for grant writers would be professional services. So do your research like you would for any new hire, interview the grant writers you are interested in, and ask them for writing samples and references. Sign an agreement with them. And in addition to their skills and what they've done, consider their communication and working style. You're going to be working with them for at least a couple of weeks, if not longer, on this grant. So you want to work with someone you're comfortable with. And if you don't find the right grant writer for your needs, we'll be updating this directory as new grant writers are identified. So please check back in the future. The next new resource, this is a whole garden full of resources, is resources by roles. So this looks familiar. Again, go to nationalrtap.org, mouse over the resources mega menu, go to the first column, and it's the third button, resources by roles. Alternatively, you can bookmark the link below. So resources by roles is a very easy to use interactive web page with tiles. So the tiles show the major roles found in rural and tribal transit agencies: administrative staff, board members, dispatch staff, drivers, heads of agencies, maintenance staff, mobility managers, safety staff, state program managers, trainers, transit managers, management, and volunteers. Now, obviously, there's a lot more roles in transit agencies and state programs. So I'll talk a little later about a mapping tool that maps other roles to these roles. So when you get to the tiles, click on each tile and you'll see a list of linked National RTAP resources that are recommended for training on each role. When you click on any of the resources in the display list from each tile, they'll open in new windows so you can go back to another role if you want to. So notice I said these are National RTAP resources. These are resources that we have created or published. Some of them we've published with partners, but we've all been a publisher of these resources. So this is what a display list looked like. This is the transit manager's resources, but you can see there's a scrolling bar, so there's more resources that can fit on a slide. There's an awful lot of them for transit managers. They're alphabetical, and as we add new resources to our library, we'll add them to resources by roles. So if you get this list and you want to print it out, take your mouse, right-click on it, and then click Print. The resources and resources by roles are available in 3 places: our resource library called Resource Share, our website as web pages, or technology tools or toolkits or that type of thing, and our e-learning portal. Some of them have overlap. They might be in both our resource library and e-learning. And you can use our resource catalog to figure out all of that, or we can help you if you contact us at info@nationalrtap.org. So you can see this is a long list, but for the top 5 resources recommended for each role, all of the tiles and a roles key, see our resource catalog. This will open up when you get the PowerPoint in a new window as well. So if you get to a record in our resource library, it's a full record with all kinds of information about the resource. Anything that's not just a web page or an e-learning only document will open up to our online public access catalog, which is librarianese for a library database. And you might see a little cart. So if it's available in our shipping center, like this one, this is a tech brief leveraging social media, then you can order it. If it says online resource, you can't order it. So please don't click on the cart if it doesn't say shipping center. Click on the full text PDF icon at the bottom of the media section to open the full text resource in a new window. You can right click on it to save it on your computer. The National RTAP resources are meant to share. That's why we call it resource share. They're not copyrighted. You can send them to your whole team. You can keep them in your own, library database if you have one. So use them in whatever way you'd like. So this is the roles key I talked about. It's in our resource catalog, and our review board helped define and map the roles. So for example, there wasn't a tile specifically for mechanics, but resources for mechanics would be found in the tile maintenance staff under resources by roles. Also, travel trainers would be found in the role trainers in the tile in resources by roles. So this is helpful if you're looking for a specific role that your agency has and you don't see it in the tiles. So resource share, each record, this is another technical brief, grant writing made easy, will list the roles that resource is applicable to. You can if you want everything for administrative staff or any other role, click on that. It's blue and clickable, and you'll get everything in our resource share OPAC for that role. But note if you do that, you'll get National RTAP resources plus partner resources, because a lot of them are applicable to administrative staff as well. So here's showing an advanced search by role. Transit personnel, heads of agencies, for the role, all words in record, and a library created keywords. Say you're looking for operations. See, this search will show a National RTAP technical brief operating the Rural Transit Agency, as well as a partner resource, a CASTA template on operations. So there's a lot of ways you can get things by roles, both our resources and partner resources. If you need help, just contact us at info@nationalrtap.org. So I mentioned that the tiles list all the resources by roles, and the resource catalog lists the top 5 resources by roles. But people ask us a lot, what should we train our drivers on? What should we train our maintenance staff on? What should we train our trainers on? That's really up to your individual agency. You can develop your own training policies and procedures. You can have your staff take all the training for their role that we recommend, or just the top 5 or any combination thereof. You can develop local training policies and procedures based on your own agency needs. If there's an FTA required training, of course, that has to be taken. So that was resources by roles. And now we're going into the future. John Martin series, Harnessing the Forces of Change. So back to this similar looking how to get it screen, mouse again over resources on nationalrtap.org, only this time you're looking at the second column. The John Martin series is the last button in the training column. Alternatively, you can bookmark the URL at the bottom. So here's John Martin. He's a nationally recognized thought leader. He was with us in 2010, and then most recently at the 2023 National RTAP Conference in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He was our opening keynote speaker. His name is John W. Martin. He's the president and CEO of Southeastern Institute for Research, Inc., SIR, and the Institute for Tomorrow. And if you were there, or even if you weren't, in his keynote, John shared the 10 trends, that's hard to say, 10 trends that will shape rural and tribal transit in the years ahead. So this slide shows our old logo from 2010. So he had originally developed a series of webinars and technical briefs for us that started out with dawning of a new era. Yes, the 2010s were a new era and included training on meeting customer needs, exceptional customer service, measuring and reporting impact, and the business of transit, all important topics in 2010, 2025, and always. So all of the technical briefs that John created were updated in 2024. But the 2010 webinars were retired when the new 2024 videos were made. So if you bookmarked those and you want to know which video is most like that one you used to show, please contact us at info@nationalrtap.org and we'll set you up. So this is what the web page looks like. There's the URL at the bottom. It has the title of the series, buttons for an introduction, instructions, and a trends sheet, all of the videos, and all of the technical briefs, and a button on the bottom, everything John Martin did for us in our resource library. So you can use it any way you'd like, but we recommend starting out with the introduction, then the instructions and the trends sheet, and then looking at all the videos and tech briefs that you want. So the introduction is a video. Start here to learn about the series. Click on the introduction button at the top of our webpage. You can find it on YouTube, and you can find it in Resource Share. In Resource Share, it also includes a 508 compliant for persons who use screen readers transcript. So that's also helpful if people cannot, use the video in YouTube the way it is. So the instruction sheet gives recommendations for how to use the training and really good suggestions. The URL is at the bottom of this page. So again, just like you're creating, training policies with resource-friendly roles, with the John Martin series, think about the best way to use this educational program for your own transit agency. Work with your team to see how you want to do it. Some suggestions are hold 10 staff meetings, hold 5 longer meetings, hold a half or full day long meeting. You can see what works for you and your team. Learn and discuss forever. And most importantly, arrive at relevant insights for your agency. This training is very thought-provoking. It will have you thinking about different ways of thinking about your community, different ways of thinking about transit in the future. So it's not meant for just looking at the videos. It's really meant for thought and careful discussion. The trend sheet is also helpful. It gives a brief summary with important links about each of the trends. So population shifts, you can look at the Census Bureau, age shifts as well. And then it gives you some prompts to start discussions. Here is the URL to get to the trend sheet at the bottom of this slide. The entire series in Resource Share will open to everything in it, and it will also, like everything in Resource Share, highlight the name of the series and it'll give you a link to each of the components of the series. This is good if you want to do a training and show everybody everything. So you can order most of these resources. You can't order a video. That's only available online, but you can order any of the technical briefs and video transcripts through our resource library. You'll need a resource share account and you can add them to your cart. You can also order the introduction to the training and trend sheets. So you can order up to 100 of each resources if you need them. You can order them directly from Resource Share, by phone, by email, or you can chat with us at the top of our website. Our chat function is from Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you chat with us after our hours, we'll get your chat transcript the next day. So our next new resource is for mobility managers. I don't know if any of you are in the audience who are a mobility manager. If you are, you're welcome to shoot me an emoji. We all want happy emojis for mobility managers because they're all great. Yay, I see we have some mobility managers in the audience. You guys rock. So we have a new mobility management peer forum. We introduced it in January 2025. It will help mobility managers navigate the landscape, continue to find the right resources, and more. It's already started and already has some great posts. It's hosted by National RTAP and the also very new Association of Mobility Managers, AMM, who are having their own conference soon. You can find out about that if you're a mobility manager and on our forum. So a lot of mobility managers, maybe even some of you, have already been added to this forum. But if you haven't yet and you want to be, email us and request to join. So those are the things that are new. Now here's some updated resources. This is one of our most popular resources, salary ranges for transit jobs. It used to be called our job description and salary range database. There's the link to it at the bottom of this slide, and it's more popularly known as our salary survey. It's done every other year. We completed this one in July 2024. And we were pleased. Over 400 transit agencies in 10 FTA regions provided data. So it's a downloadable spreadsheet, and it's very easy to use. It contains data and a summary table. The data can be filtered or sorted by many aspects. FTA region, job title, type of organization, type of service provided, how the service is managed, union, non-union, CDL, non-CDL. Probably all of you know that's commercial driver's license, but I like to say acronyms just in case. Full-time, part-time. So what's new in our salary ranges for transit jobs? We've included annual salaries for full-time and hourly rates for part-time employees. It's sort of like comparing apples to oranges if you're trying to do annual salaries, for part-time employees. What if they're working 10 hours? What if they're working 20 hours? So we've striated it out. We've included some new job titles: administrative positions, community relations managers, safety training specialists, and trainer training managers. So there's a brief description of what that entails and their salary ranges. We've also included sheets for full and part-time transit employees receiving benefits, as well as percentages of drivers, maintenance providers, and administrators receiving salary increases. Happy to hear that a lot of them have. So here are some sample sheets. There's an instruction sheet on the first tab to walk you through the entire tool. So this is showing salary ranges. It shows the little filter icons at the top. So this is just showing non-union, but it's showing, it hasn't been filtered for anything else. So you can see the salary ranges, and you can see the different types of transit roles. So here are the summary. We show all FTA regions, and then we show individual sheets for parts of the sheets for regions 1 through 10. And there's not data for everything. There's data for, I see somebody raised their hand, but we'll take questions at the end. So you can put it in the Q&A or just raise your hand when I'm done with the slideshow. Thanks. There's data for everything that was contributed. So this is another screenshot showing administrative staff salary increases. It's from the year 2023 to 2024. I'm glad we don't see any negative numbers, and we see really quite a few pretty good salary increases, which is nice. So this is employee benefits offered, which is also something new for both full-time employees and part-time employees. So it shows how many responses we received and whether they, by FTA region as well, including all regions, whether they offer health insurance, paid time off, overtime pay, and flexible hours. For all of these benefits, at least, some of them offer, if not most or all, benefits. So that's great to see too. And that tool and the next tool, I want to give a shout out to our analyst, Nancy Doherty, who did all the, survey development and analysis for these wonderful surveys. And this next one, also a survey for state RTAP status and trends. So a survey was sent to each state and US territory RTAP manager in March, and it closed in August of last year. They received 40 responses from states. Well, there's 50 states and a batch of territories, so that's a very good amount. While the primary audience for this survey summary is state RTAPs, transit agencies will find the data useful too, to learn what their state RTAP does. So each of you, if you haven't reached out to your state RTAP, you're really encouraged to do so. They share a wealth of knowledge and training, and we also have a directory of state RTAP managers on our website if you don't know who your state RTAP manager is. They're all great. So the questions in this survey included, what do state RTAPs do in terms of program management, training, state management review findings, GTFS status, and use and quality of National RTAP services, products, and outreach. We want to know what they think of what we're doing for them and for their subrecipients. So we show data all the way from 2010 to 2024. You can see that with management of state RTAPs, they've changed from being, mostly in-house to sort of, both in-house, outsourced, and a combination. And then we've also looked at what they're training on. So a lot of training has been added through the years, like active shooter is a fairly new training. And, even asset management wasn't really something that state RTAPs that we surveyed were training on in 2010. Here are the URLs to both the webpage for the status and trends for the state RTAP survey and a really nice summary of the whole survey. Okay, get ready for Rural Transit Day. There's a picture of myself and Robin wearing our official Rural Transit Day t-shirts on the bottom, and on the top is our Rural Transit Day time capsule that is starting to get, well, I don't know, it's not full. It's maybe, I'm looking at the real one, maybe third to half full. So we want to fill it up, and then we'll bury it, and then rural transit people in the future, National RTAP will do a digging, and future people will be able to see what transit was like at this time and a few years past. So we've collected tickets, tokens, business cards, and this year we're collecting smart cards. So those, nice plastic cards that you add value to. So if you'd like to contribute one, here is my mailing address. And again, this will be in the slide and it'll be in our e-news. Please don't add any value to it. We're gonna keep it in the time capsule. But, and even if you don't use them anymore, if you've gone, contactless or something and you still have one floating around, please send it to us and we'll add it to the time capsule. And this year, you're going to be able to purchase your official Rural Transit Day t-shirts through a vendor we partnered with. So you can celebrate Rural Transit Day in style. We're going to do a Facebook Live event, and we do a lot for Rural Transit Day. So if you want to purchase a t-shirt, we're actually launching it before April 1st because our vendor said it would be ready for next week's e-news. So it'll even be ready March 25th at 11 a.m. Eastern. So at that point, I'll add it to our website. And if you want a t-shirt, you got it. They'll sell them for discounts for volume purchases. And please note that National RTAP is not making any money off selling these t-shirts. We are offering them as a community service. Many of you have asked us, can we buy these t-shirts? So this is how we're going to do it. And we will also do raffles. So you can enter a contest to win a Rural Transit Day t-shirt. So that's what I have. And now I would like questions. There was somebody who had their hand up before. And you can put your questions in the Q&A, in the chat. I know Robin's also on here. So what do you have questions about from what we've shown you? Does anybody want to see something demonstrated live rather than just in a slide? I see something in the chat. Great. Right. Last year we celebrated on X Twitter. Yeah, we're still going to have what we started last year, an X prequel for Rural Transit Day. Between 1 and 2, we're going to be sharing all of the art of transit, beautiful artistic works of, paintings, drawings, sculptures of buses and things about rural transit on X Twitter. And then from 2 to 3, we'll do a Facebook Live event. So we'll see your faces, your shirts, and talk in real time about, we'll still have questions and answers. So I'm excited about that. We've never done that. We've also done LinkedIn learn-alongs. But really, what I found last year was all of you did so much for Rural Transit Day on every social media platform that it was just awesome. We have at National RTAP Facebook, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So we will pick it up. Maybe it might take a day or two because there were hundreds of posts this past Rural Transit Day, and we'll share your posts with the world. Okay, any other questions or things you want to see demoed? Robin, would you like to share anything?
Well, before I came on here, I was meeting with Kevin Chambers about Ride Sheet. And I think, we're definitely looking for ways to help you do your reporting and streamline capturing and managing all that data that FTA wants. Also, we're able to, if you're a fixed route operator and you're reporting to NTD on your routes and schedules, which would be the GTFS report, If you haven't yet gone live on Google and Apple Maps, we can help you take those little baby steps that it takes to go from having your GTFS to being visible on Apple resources. And I was in Minneapolis just this last week for technical assistance training for tribal Title VI operators, and an older couple had got off the plane and they were looking to get on the train, and I said, "Oh," they asked me, of course, I'm not from Minneapolis, how do you know how to use the transit? Will it go to Mall of America? I said, "Do you have a smartphone? Do you have Google Maps? Okay, go to Google Maps, put in your destination, Mall of America, and hit directions. And then at the top, there is the transit icon, and there, just press that." And they did, and they're like, "Oh, this is so great." So I think I want to really encourage people that haven't yet moved ahead with getting their schedules and services into Google and Apple Maps, that it is it's like the auto row of transit. If it's there, that's where you go to look for it, and people use it. So I'm really excited for that in the coming year. And please also ask us questions. Kara keeps a database of the questions that get asked, but we like to have difficult questions. We did a cost allocation webinar this week, and people asked about how do you deal with deadhead miles if you're doing cost allocation and working with Medicaid? And I think that that's something that many people deal with in rural areas, that they provide transit and Medicaid transportation. And when you're billing Medicaid, how do you include the costs of those deadhead miles? So they will
No
allow
questions too hard.
no question too hard. Or no, we never get asked the same question too often. So even if it sounds stupid, you know what? We all started one day and walked into a space that we had no idea what it looked like. And it was our cubicle doing transit work, or office. And as you spend time in this space, you learn more. But everyone started somewhere, and we all come to the table with different experiences. And so the changes that are happening now and that people are working with are perceived and approached differently. So that can be a real benefit if you are thinking about doing something. We're happy to hook you up with people who are also interested in that or are doing that.
Yeah, in addition to our new mobility management peer network, many of you know that we have a state RTAP peer forum, a rural transit manager peer forum, a tribal transit manager peer forum, and an intercity bus peer forum. So you can use the same email to get set up on any of those. info@nationalrtap.org.
Well, thanks so much, Kara. This was great. It reminds me of all the things that are coming that we have upcoming this summer. I think we'll have the ELDT, and we're working on an FTA 101 course. So things are bubbling up, and by the time we get to December and our national conference, there will be quite a few new products and materials and resources for people who are trying to put things together and either improve their services, improve their operations, their planning, their budgeting. All of these are going to be part of the program that we have in Austin. And I saw earlier that we had our co-host, Hari Banta from TxDOT on this. And we are going to have a big Texas welcome for this conference.
Yeah, we hope to see you all there. I wrote The Lost Ticket. That was the last book we read, but we're going to be reading Bus People 30 Days on the Road with America's Nomads for our next book. And that's a really amazing book. So I just put it in our library, so you are welcome to request it, to borrow it. We do that twice a year. We're also planning webinars more on GTFS, one on mobility as a service. There'll be lots of webinars in 2025. Some other products that we're planning, an update to our bus rodeo toolkit. We're really going to be expanding it. An update to our Tap into RTAP, which is available in video, and it'll also eventually be available in e-learning. And I know Robin mentioned most of them, a volunteer driver toolkit, a brand new toolkit just on that topic. So I bunched up a lot of these new resources rather than doing an individual webinar on each one. But the product that Robin spoke about, I didn't include because we already do have a whole webinar about it, introducing RideSheet. So if you're intrigued by RideSheet, go to our webinars page and you can learn about that. And we also yesterday just did a cost allocation calculator webinar. For some of our products, we have drop-in sessions every single week, on Tuesdays for Website Builder and on Thursdays for GTFS Builder. So that's at 1 p.m. Eastern. You don't even have to pre-register. Just go to our website and drop in. If you're working on something, if you have questions, our expert instructors are right there. They'll give you a live one-on-one answer. So, and I'm on chat all day if I'm here. So feel free to send questions that way too. And, we hope to see you in December in Austin. So we still have some time. I'm going to go to this page now so you can scan this briefly with your phone if you want to do a survey. But does anybody want anything that we talked about shown? Because, it's nice to see slides, but it's a lot nicer to get a walkthrough. I left a lot of time to do that. I'll reiterate what we went through today. The resources by roles, directory of grant writers, John Martin series. Would anybody like to see either of the surveys, the salary survey, the RTAP survey, the mobility peer forum? I can even show you a preview of our store for our Rural Transit Day t-shirt if you want to see it.
Oh, yeah. Donna wants to see the grant writers, directory of grant
writers. Great. Okay. So I'm going to go online. And here you are, our website. And like the slide shows, the directory of grant writers is right here. So you can see all 10 of them. And the beginning screen gives their names, their company name, their email, and their phone number, and a View Details button. If I click a Download CSV version, it'll ask where I want it, not in the cost allocation calculator, probably on my desktop. And it'll download, and then you can open it. Sometimes it takes a minute. But then you'll get a very easy Excel sheet where you can see all 10 of our current grant writers. And it will say what they have experience with, what topics, where their address is. Maybe you want somebody close to where you are. So that's helpful. You can search. If you search tribal, see, I've searched that before because people are always looking for tribal information. 4 of the grant writers in our directory have expertise on tribal transit topics. If you want to search by filter, construction, I think we have 3. So once you go into this, you'll see if they provided their headshot. This particular grant writer didn't give their LinkedIn page, but you can learn a little bit more about them. And some of the biographies are very in-depth, so you can really see what they've done before you contact them. Okay, any other things that you would like demoed? Anybody? Nice. Okay, and I did. Was there anything in the Q&A? Robin, do you see that?
I was following the chat and that was it. And then here's a Q&A. Do you have to be receiving services from RTAP or actively have a specific job description to participate in peer groups? You should be part of that peer group. So if you're a transit manager or formerly a transit manager, so you are thinking about questions that are around transit management, it would be great for you to participate. If you are a state program person or part of a state, we encourage you to go to the state peer group and not to the transit manager. The people want to have some space to talk about things separately.
Right, right. We have round tables for all types of groups too.
Right. And, when we do roundtables at the conference, we have a roundtable for mobility managers. And if you're not a mobility manager, but you're, say, a state RTAP manager that's interested in discussing training and ways to get training out, the Mobility Management Forum might be a good place for you to participate as well as the State RTAP Forum, because many of the people that are part of the mobility management programs around the country provide a variety of on-the-ground resources and services, including training. So the mobility management group, I saw myself as a mobility manager when I worked in Eastern Oregon. And I was the state person out there, but I was also making connections, connecting communities, working with local governments, assisting local transit agencies with compliance and supporting their programs when they had questions. That is a sort of the state level. Other mobility managers have different duties or responsibilities. I didn't provide training, but if I were doing it now, I would, because I know more about National RTAP and how easy it is to use our trainings to train locally.
We also hired a new staff member. Some of you might know her name, Anjali Dixon, who comes from the National Center for Mobility Management, and she'll be adding a lot more mobility management training to our slate, including at rural caucuses that Robin is spearheading. So there'll be a lot more for mobility managers in the year and years to come. With some of these different peer groups, we do offer regular online roundtables. Like we recently had both a state one and a transit manager one. So we do put on our website summaries. So even if you are not in the group and you want to read about what transit managers are talking about, you can go to the summary. Like this one was just recently about employment transportation. After the summary, we list the questions and answers. So if you're a state and you can't attend the transit manager one, you can still read about it, vice versa. Any other questions or things you would like us to show live? Anything you'd like us to do that we haven't already thought of? Any other feedback or anything else?
Okay. For my next meeting.
Well, I left a lot of time for questions. Thank you to all who had some. And you have 10 more minutes back in your day. Thank you for your participation. And we hope you use all these and more resources. Have a great day and a great spring. And we hope to see you in Austin in December. Bye.